Hello and welcome back to Real English with Real Teachers with Harry and Charlie. 3 months ago we published this video in which we proposed to you, our beloved subscribers, the idea of running a Real English Immersion Course here in the UK. At the time it was just an idea. We had no idea. We had no clue if any of you would actually be interested in coming here, living with us for 4 nights and learning with us in the flesh, meaning in person. But surprisingly, the response was incredible, and we had hundreds of emails from people saying that they would be interested in such a course. So, 3 months later,
on the 7th to the 11th of August 2017, Harry and I did our first Real English with Real Teachers immersion course. And we had a blast, a bloody good time. And we think that our students really enjoyed it as well. And since some of our fans on our page are asking for details of how the trip went, we thought we would make a montage of what we did and what to expect on our trip, including all of the fun adventures and the classroom ideas that we had. So we hope you enjoy it.
So on the first day, we picked everyone up from Brighton station at 4 p.m. and got everyone back to the house for some prosecco, a flapjack cake and a home-cooked meal. Everyone was getting on like a house on fire, and we had a fantastic night of getting to know each other and playing some games.
the daily lessons started at 10:15. after everyone was dressed and fed, and lasted for around 3 hours. For the classes of the immersion course, we decided to employ a dog-me teaching approach, which is a method of teaching which minimises the importance of textbooks and pre-planned curriculums and emphasises or stresses the value of communicative competence over everything else.
On this course, our main goal was to make non-natives better speakers of English, to increase their confidence when talking, build their vocabulary, and help them to be better understood by others. Therefore, our lessons typically consisted of a range of different communicative activities that would stretch the students' speaking skills and provide us, the teachers, with an idea of what new language needed to be taught.
In these pictures, you'll see that we always had our laptops to hand during class. This was me and Charlie taking notes on everyone's use of English so that we could then review this language around the whiteboard to suggest new expressions and vocab to help everyone on the course express themselves in a more effective manner. We also took this time to review some tricky irregular verbs and grammar structures that students were really finding quite difficult during the class activities.
So this was our official lesson time, and this took place every morning, after which we would take an hour break for lunch and then head out on a trip. During the break, students were free to do whatever they pleased. More often than not, they would take a 2-minute stroll into the centre of the village for lunch, where they could find a variety of pubs, cafes and cute little independents.
As well as being the real teachers on the course, Charlie and I were also the real chauffeurs. There was no waiting around for buses or taxis, as we were the ones taking everyone from place to place. The car was also a great place to stay immersed in English, as we often found ourselves explaining the surroundings to the students and having nice conversations as we drove around from place to place.
We went on 3 trips. The first was an exploration of the South Downs National Park. The second, a day out in Brighton. And the third, and possibly my favourite, was an afternoon and a spontaneous race along the Seven Sisters Cliffs. In addition to being an opportunity to experience some of the most beautiful areas of the country, These trips also provided lots of time to continue chatting and learning new vocabulary, and moreover to challenge everyone to step outside of their comfort zone of speaking English. To do this, we set daily language challenges. On our trip into Brighton, for instance, we divided students into 3 groups of 2 and gave each pair a language challenge which had been designed based on the students' personal goals for coming on the course. After getting back from the trips, we had around an hour of downtime. Usually during this time, people would go off to their bedrooms or sit around in one of the communal rooms of the house chatting.
On the first night, it was Charlie and I who cooked. On the second night, we went to a local restaurant, but on nights 3 and 4, it was team cooking time.
The team cooking was a real success as a speaking activity. It was perfect because it required everyone to communicate effectively using everyday vocabulary to achieve a shared goal. Of course, Harry and I were there to help out with the vocabulary of the kitchen as and when needed, but it was the chefs of the evening who were in charge of hosting and serving their guests as if they were in a restaurant, and it was their responsibility to work together as a team to make it all come together. It was brilliant, and the food they cooked was genuinely really tasty.
After dinner, we would lead into an evening speaking activity, which either took place around the dinner table, in the living room, or in a local pub. The evening speaking activities were typically about an hour and a half to 2 hours in length, depending on how much energy we had left in the tank. The main purpose of these activities was to get everyone talking and reviewing the vocab and expressions that had come up during the course, and we did this through fun and amusing games.
Normally, we found ourselves still sitting around and chatting until after midnight, but of course everyone could retire to bed whenever they wanted. I think my favourite moment of the course was on the last night when we sat around the dinner table for hours playing a game which combined taboo and charades as a way of revising all of the idioms and vocabulary from the course. Not only was it hilarious to see everyone trying to act out idiomatic expressions in charades, but it also delighted me to see the sheer amount of language that everyone had been able to absorb throughout the course. It was an incredibly gratifying end to our first immersion course. On the last day, everyone was presented with certificates for their participation and personal achievements of the course, and we went out for a lovely English breakfast in Alfriston as a final farewell.
So that was the experience, and as it was a success and so much fun, we are going to be doing more courses in the future. So if you are interested, then you need to click here to find out when our next course dates are and join our email waiting list. Thanks for watching and see you soon.